Ah, oh, yeah. So there's the panelists and then there's the attendees. Okay. Now, at least that makes some sense. So I do have some people I know there from around the world. Welcome. Welcome to our uh, hello, Avi, and uh, Professor Nojima, distinguished professor from Osaka, has joined. He's currently in China, and very good. So I'll tell you what, I'll get started because I don't want to extend the time that we have making the introductions, and hopefully we'll have more of attendees joining us after that. So complex engineering systems, we are hosting this webinar. Why are we hosting this webinar? We had come up with a special issue, and as a result of the special issue that we got together, we have 5 papers which we'll be presenting today. Each paper will present for about 15 minutes. Now, complex engineering systems, the editor-in-chief is a good friend, Professor Hamid Reza Karimi from Milan, Italy. And we've been around for a while. We're indexed in Scopus, Dimensions, Lens, evaluated in EI and ESCI. That is very important for a journal to get that recognition of being indexed by very capable. Impact factor is something like 1.1.5 right now, but we should be moving towards 4 in the coming year or two as we further extend and develop our capabilities. We've just been around since 2021, so not too long. But the organization by OEE is fantastic. They're extremely supportive, and they've made available to us many wonderful opportunities. So I'm extremely pleased with that. Next slide. Next page. Next slide. Yeah. Okay. So a little bit about our publication data. You can see here on the right our readers from across the world. USA has about a little over 50% of the readers, and then we've got United Kingdom. Others, it's in English, so one would expect the readers to be from English-speaking countries. Canada, and then also Europe, China, Russia, and the others. You can see on the left publication data, which is the number of submissions versus the number of publications. We have a very well managed peer review system in order to meet all the requirements of Scopus and of the other highly esteemed indexing organizations that reflect upon us. And so there is a quality control on the publications that are being sent out. Okay, next slide. Editorial board. So on the top left, right on top, you see Professor Hamid Karimi, our editor-in-chief. And then I am the second from the right on the top row, the editor for Intelligent and Aerospace Systems. We have our advisory board, which is the professors on the top row between Professor Karimi and myself. And then we have our topic editors. I'm one of the topic editors. My colleague, Yashi Ma from UCLA is also listed there. He was at the University of Cincinnati for a while, so he's a familiar face. 75 editors in 17 regions and countries, 72 junior editorial board and members in 9 countries. Okay, next slide. Here we have some special issues. You can see the special issue that we are focusing on this webinar is the second one on the left column, which is the Explainable AI Engineering Applications. Tim Arnett, Barnabas Bede, and Javier. Barnabas and Tim are both going to join us today as speakers because they've also contributed papers in addition to being guest editors. So I thank the team of guest editors. I don't know if Javier has joined us. He may be one of the attendees. We've invited him. But anyway, we have put together a special issue. You need at least 5 papers, which we have, to round up the special issue and then to move on with other areas. I will get into why explainable AI is important for complex engineering systems and applications in a short while, but this gives you an idea of the type of work being done. They're very much in the state of the art of research in the area of complex engineering systems. Fault tolerance, stability control applications for dynamic systems, driving autonomous vehicles, risk management in digital era, and then advances in unmanned air vehicles. Next slide. Okay, so we have the featured columns. You see my picture of here, at least in 2 places, explainable AI, top left, and then a special interview with one of my PhD students, John Ender Martin, who graduated. Please go on our website and check them out. These are recordings. I believe that the recording of today's webinar will also be put up there for posterity and for people to reflect upon, to get an idea what the papers are about. And so the other thing you see here also with Tim Arnett and myself, with Professor Hamid Karimi, is in the middle column down there, explainable fuzzy logic-based AI, potential promise, and the XFC International Student Competition that was jointly sponsored by Complex Engineering Systems. Professor Najima, Tim Arnett, thank you for advancing this XFC competition through IEEE Computational Intelligence Community at Fuzz IEEE in 2024, and then also at NAFIPS. Professor Barnabash Bede has been a co-sponsor of this competition, and thanks to Tim Arnett, who's one of our speakers, who has been spearheading this entire competition. Okay, next slide. So today, we're going to talk about explainable AI engineering applications. Why is explainability important? It is important to understand why are decisions made. AI is everywhere. Some of the AI hallucinates. So to hide behind a cloak of opaqueness where you don't understand what's happening, and you have seen people saying, oh, you know, the outcomes of certain Gen AI, which is not explainable, it's a big black box, has led to adverse impact on society. And when the head of Google, Microsoft, have been asked what happened, they say, one says, I don't know what's in my system, and the other one says we should be testing more. You know, so big companies, a lot of money, a lot of people working for them, and yet they don't have answers. Why? Because the AI foundationally is brittle. Okay, deep learning, opaque system can be brittle. And so explainability, interpretability, having to understand what's behind that cloak makes it important from being able to trust it. Because once you understand the reasoning behind why things are done the way they are done, what are the connections between the feature space of inputs to an outcome? And why is it important to be able to have that transparency and understand the reasoning in very simple manner, right? So today's papers will be focusing on explainability for different applications and across our board here. And those applications vary from aerospace to health to a few other areas as well. Okay, so let's go down and look at the agenda today. Next slide. So the agenda today, after my little talk, Dr. Satyam will talk about biomedical applications, specifically interpretability in breast cancer. There's a diagnosis. I happen to be honored to have Anup as a researcher in my lab. We've collaborated together with Avi Weinberg, who's on our attendee list. Dr. Kumar, I've had a long history of collaboration with him. We joined the University of Cincinnati at the same time, 17 years ago. Active manipulation of a tethered drone using explainable AI. Surender Kumar, Sampath Kumar, working with Daejong and with Dong-Hoon Kim, a colleague, talking about human-aware framework, autonomous mobile robots. Barnabas Bede, the past president of the North American Fuzzy Information Processing Society, my mentor, my guide. Today, I'm the president, thanks to him passing over to me a very good legacy that I have to, and I'm very proud to be part of. And we've collaborated across the board on quite a few occasions. I'm very happy that Barnabas can join us. And he's also a co-editor of this Explainable AI special topic. He'll talk about Dakaji Sugeno Kang fuzzy systems. Tim Arnett will be talking about the combat game, XAI for strategic combat game. Very exciting, and give us more information about the competition, which continues into 2025. So Tim, please make sure that you also tell people here online what to do in order to be able to compete in 2025 and form teams. And everybody beware, there's going to be a very strong team coming up from Cincinnati for 2025. So I'm throwing down in my glove. Challenge to the world. Pick it up. The next slide. Okay, so our speakers, Dr. Satyan, I spoke about him. Next slide. He'll go first. And then we will, a little bit about Dr. Satyan. He was at the University of Cincinnati, got his PhD here. I happened to be his mentor. He got the Best PhD Thesis Award from NAFIPS. And then afterwards, he worked as a research associate, a senior research associate in my AI Biolab at the Digital Futures. And recently, just earlier this year, he was given, it was announced last year, the Early Investigator Award of NAFIPS, but he gave the presentation this year in May. And so without further delay, Dr. Satyan.